This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid.
Don't miss a special offer on November 19th from Botox Cosmetic Anabotulinum Toxin A, the one and only product of its kind FDA approved for over 20 years. Buy one $50 gift card and get one free while supplies last. Terms and conditions apply. For prescribing information and box warning, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs, where I am excited today because this one's been on my mind for a while. I've been wanting to talk about the Ravens since they left, since Art Modell packed up like years ago. I've got a lot of pent-up anger and frustration. The fact that they just took our team, the fact that they took one of the greatest tight ends of all time and made him a GM, and they had all of this success, drafted Lamar. Like, I could go on, and I'm here for it, Tobe, so let's get into it. Let's talk some Ravens.
Oh boy, we're not going to talk the Ravens because me being a Browns fan, I hate that moment in history as well, and I don't use that term often. When I say hate, I mean hate. But regardless, here we are talking about the artist Ravyn Lenae.
Yeah, I must have got my show notes kind of mixed up. Sorry about that. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely not your good today. No, I'm kidding. No, you did get me on this one. I was like, that was good.
Yeah.
But Joe, tell them what song that we are reviewing today.
The song is called Love Me Not. And I think we are hopefully getting on to a little stretch here where we're kind of finding a song right as it starts to kind of become popular and hit. So as we're recording this song kind of just jumped into the Billboard 100. It debuted at like number 81. I think it's already moved up several spots already in the last day. It's got, I think, 83 million streams on Spotify right now. So super popular. Already did a remix with Rex Orange County kind of contributing some stuff. So there's two versions of it out. And it's an interesting track. I've got thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. So why don't you kick it off and let's just talk about the music first. What do you think?
Sure. Music kind of caught me off guard with her style of voice, with her vocal stylings. The style of music kind of caught me off. Like, wasn't quite expecting that. With that all being said, the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. And that's not always the case. Particularly because I think she does a really good job with her lyrics. And I'm not saying that her lyrics are super ridiculous deep. I'm not comparing her to to some of the other ladies that we've talked about on this program. But I will say that, listen, the lyrics definitely hit hard. And it was one thing, like, as you go like throughout her songs, and we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I thought that this song was like, okay, I see what you're doing. The lyrics are a little bit deeper than one would expect for such a poppy, good feel type music song, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And I was a little surprised because this was my first kind of listen to her stuff. And if you start with this track, you think that she's going to kind of fall in a pop lane and be in that, I don't know, not that too far from, Sabrina. And actually, I think for me personally, just her style vocally, I'm not saying they sound the same or anything, but there's a little bit of an Ariana kind of flavor to it, which I think is interesting. So you're thinking, okay, this is another like pop artist. You pull up the rest of the album, Bird's Eye is the name of the album. And I don't know, it's not nearly as poppy or as hook heavy, I think, in the same way that this song is. So it's interesting that this kind of came out as the first single. So I'm not sure it's overly representative of what you're going to find on the rest of the album. And by the way, I love the album. I think it's a fantastic album.
I agree. I do think that the album is fantastic. I think it's well done. And with that being said, I like this song probably the least, or amongst the least on the track.
I would agree.
Of all the tracks. So that was one thing that just the exact same thing that you said. It's like, okay, this song is cool. All right. Yeah. The more I listen, it's like, okay, it's better than cool. Okay. Yeah. I like it. The words are there. I love it when they give me lyrics on Spotify. I can't tell you how much I really need the lyrics to hear what they're trying to say. But with that all being said, I was like, you know what? I got a little bit more time. Let me listen to more of the songs on the album. And the second song I listened to was like From Scratch. And I was like, oh my God.
Love that song. Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
Like this song is ridiculous. Now, here we go. Yeah. Now let's get it in. And then you sent the other song, which was the song that she did with
Childish Gambino.
And I mean, I was
One Wish
speechless.
is the name of that track.
Well, look, my one wish is there was more songs on there like that. That's my wish right there. But let's say I don't want to stray away from this song because it is charting. Love Me Not. I think this is one of those things like it's almost like it feels like boxing where you got tempted with the left and then got hit with an uppercut or a right. It's like you're not expecting it, right? This was just, here, look at this hand, and bam, it hit you with an uppercut. With everything else, if you're looking for a way to describe her music, the only thing I can tell you is that it is genre bending. I think is probably the best. It's just fusion, and you can put whatever before it. Pop fusion, jazz fusion, R&B fusion. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think what's interesting, so she came out, I mean, talk about a young talent. So let's back up a little bit. She's born and raised in Chicago. She loves music from an early age to the point where her sophomore year, works all summer, raises $300 for the sole purpose. And this girl's 15 years old. Think about that. Like, I'm going to take this money just so I can go book some studio time. And I'm like, that is driven right there. And it's also like, that takes some courage, because it wasn't just, it's some moxie. Yes. I'm not going to go just find a random studio. I'm going to go to, classic studio in Chicago, pay the fee, whatever. And so she shows up and she writes this song. It's called Greeting. I think this is around 2015, and she records it. And Chris Classic, the guy who owns the studio, is there, and he's like, wow. And he's calling people into the session. He's like, check this out. And he's like, you know what? I got you. Anytime you want to come back and lay down some tracks, you're good. Like, you don't have to pay for it. Just come in. You are that talented. And so, like, that to me is, I mean, we always say it, right? Game recognizes game. So this guy clearly knows what I went back and I looked up this song, Greeting. I was like, she was 15 when she wrote this? Like, what? That's crazy to me. So tons of talent.
And an old soul, I would say. Like, I think this is one of those artists that I feel really knew what she was going to be like. You can tell, like, she thought a lot, very cerebral about how she was going to come out and do things. I mean, granted, there's always evolution, right? She's a different artist than she was at the age of 15 than she is right now. But similar to like a Doechii, I feel like started a while back, and then this person just took it upon themselves to evolve more than I would think the years would say, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And
old soul.
An old soul. And I think like Erykah Badu, when she came on the scene, I remember just thinking about her. It's like, man, what is it? What is it about this artist that she just has the look? It's not like, okay, this is her fourth album and she's all of a sudden this, star child with the dressing and how she says her words. Like, no, she was already there. And to me, that's just impressive. And she is one of these new artists that I feel, it's like, oh, she's so put together. She's like a little chia pet. Just add water to her. She's like, oh, look at that. We got a project. And like you said, game recognizes game. That dude had to have heard her and was like, okay, these lyrics, I see what you're doing. Yep, you're with me. Let's roll.
Yeah.
you're with me.
Yeah. And like a really interesting voice. I would kind of use the word ethereal, because she just kind of floats in that higher register. In fact, when I was listening to the album, I was like, wow, is she just stacking stuff and kind of auto tuning? Because she's got a really heavy vibrato. You know, it's a nice little. It's not quite Shakira-esque, but it's there.
Sure. Thank God. Thank God it's not Shakira. Thank God. Thank God.
you heard it here, folks.
Oh my God.
But it does have some of those qualities, and because she's in her falsetto a lot, or just saying, I don't even know if it's a falsetto, if it just could be her range.
Sure.
I was like, is that auto-tuned? And then I went and saw her tiny desk, and I was like, no, she just sings like that. So there's something sort of oddly magical just from her, about her voice itself, which I find fascinating.
I'm so glad that you said that. And I know we've been texting back and forth because that is what, that kind of threw me off. So with the Love Me Not song, I'm listening to it. Okay. Yeah. And it's like, man, she's poppy, but she doesn't sound like the other pop female artist voices. I said, that's different. Okay. So is this a falsetto? Is this just a thing that she did for this one song? And then listen to the other songs. Like I said, you know, From Scratch and all the other ones like Bad Idea. I like those songs better than this Love Me Not track. And still we have this voice. I'm like, now I had to really hear more songs to hear her voice on. I had a hard time thinking about which artist does she remind me of. And I was like, I know why I love this artist so much. I know why I love this collection of music so much. She reminds me of Sarita, who used to work with Stevie Wonder. And I was like, that's who she reminds me of. It's like that voice. And it made me listen to Sarita songs, so some Sarita tracks. And she works so closely with Stevie Wonder on like a couple of albums. It's like, wow, look at that. With that being said, I think that your comparison was even better. That's why I had to say mine first, because there's no point in saying mine after you say who you picked. So tell the people who you thought her voice reminds you of.
Denise Williams.
Oh,
so
that's fantastic.
I mean, and not the you know, Let's Hear It for the Boy, which is a great song. Like, and I had a huge crush on her back in the day when that video came out.
Yes, you
should. Right. And so, but like, you know, that's not a lot of what Denise's stuff sounds like. So if you hear a track like Free, which you could put Free on this Ravyn album and it would not feel out of place at all. And so I think, I don't know, it's, you know, all good things come back, right? So it's good to see an artist kind of reviving that sound of just those great sopranos. And I think the other interesting thing is she's talked about how she's still not trying to find, she obviously has her voice, but she said, I didn't want to take the, you know, early on in my career, it's like, I'm an R&B singer. I got to do the runs. I got to learn how to belt. I got to do all of that. And it wasn't until she was like, or do I, you know, can I just do my own voice and my own thing? And so I think she's still kind of in that process of like, where is that voice eventually going to land and what is she going to pull off and what is she going to lean into?
There is a group of nonconformists that she is running with, or at least that I want to associate her with. And it's so crazy to me. It's like, okay, you've got, and I'm doing a little bit of research. I'm like, okay, she's done work with Steve Lacy, who actually is part of the group called The Internet. Well, The Internet's part of the supergroup Odd Future, who runs with Tyler. That totally makes sense. Like now, like, oh, yeah, she don't give a damn about conventions. All right. Well, let's take it another level. She has a song on here that I really like. She's got a song with Ty Dolla $ign that made me think like, that was a really good pairing for that song, for that track on the album. But Ty's also worked with SZA. And I'm like, it is very interesting because lyrics are very important to SZA as well. And I'm like, I just think like this group of nonconformists that are the musicians that are nonconforming. And you think, and I know maybe the audience is like, well, Toby, they're musicians. Of course, they're nonconformists. Like, no, you don't get it. You don't understand what I'm saying. There are cookie cutter songs out there that make money every year. They use the same chords. They use the same progressions. They use sometimes the same damn lyrics, you know, and people are tired of it. That's why people turn off the radio. Then you have other artists, right, that do things a little bit different. And this is what we're talking about here. And that's why I love this.
It's this little ecosystem that's developing, because I'm pretty sure she opened on tour for SZA. I think Ravyn did. So you've got that, all of that Top Dog stuff with Kendrick and SZA and Doechii, and now we've got Ravyn and Ty. Like, all of this is kind of people who are pushing the boundaries of kind of what modern music is, and not being constrained by, to your point, like, what's the formula? How do I get a pop hit? Whatever. It's like, you know what? I'm going to make my music and people are going to dig it because it's just good music. And I don't know, it's exciting to kind of see this come back around in that way, because I was fearful with the launch of AI and all this stuff.
Sure.
You can write a song in like literally 3 minutes, to see people almost patently rejecting that and being like, no, I'm just going to do my own thing. It's cool.
I think they're rejecting hard. I think that the rejection is overwhelming. I think they're really, really tired of that. They want something that's unpredictable. I mean, if you talk to you talk to young people nowadays, right? Young people have, my son's age, your daughter's age. They've seen a lot of movies. They've talked to you and adults my age, and we've told them about all the stories out there, the Star Wars, the Star Treks. They're tired of the predictable endings. They want something that's unpredictable. They don't want it, but they kind of want their hero's life to be really like in danger and possibly die. Like, they want those stories. They want to feel something. They want something. You and I, we were talking about a show that both of our kids watched, granted at different times. We were watching Merlin. And I remember it's such a great show, especially for if you've got a family. It's a great show, period, but it's such a great show, especially if you have a family, to sit down and watch one show together, because it's a clean show.
Exactly. Yep.
And I remember, it's been out for years, so I can say this when
I don't think we're going to have any spoilers at this point, too.
Right. Well, when Arthur died, man, that was moving. It made my son actually cry at that time. I'll never forget it. I was like, wow, that moved him to that level. And it was unexpected. You had thought the series could have ended without that happening, and they'd have been fine. But they're like, no, we're going to do this.
To be fair, Tobe, that last episode was cobbled together and tragic in the way they wrapped everything up in a bow. And I think it was because they had to end it. Whatever. I'm not going to go off on a whole Merlin tangent, because I can. But your point is well taken. It's we don't need to see the spoon-fed sugar of the hero always wins and everybody lives happily ever after, because that's not real life. If it's an authentic story and that happens, awesome. But also, we can handle it if it doesn't end that way, as long as there's something that we can take out of it that inspires us or whatever.
Right. And I think these songs, and I guess to kind of segue back to Ravyn's writing, if you will, I think that her songs to me are very realistic, right? They're very like that felt real, especially the lyrics for Love Me Not, right? So it's, it's hard to see you, but I wish you were right here. It's hard to leave you, but when I get you everywhere, I don't know, man. It's just, it's not just this song. There are other songs that are, the lyrics really, really got me. I'm trying to think of the one song that I really connected with lyric wise. Bad Idea. I thought that was pretty smart, about someone spending the night and it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea, but we're going to do it anyway. It kind of is what it is. The track's lyrics I really like are genius. I thought the music was cool, but I really like the lyrics. She starts off with paradise, takes a little patience, give it time, get up in the morning. It's all right. Never mind what we said last night. I realize it takes communication, throwing knives, burning down the kitchen, kiss goodnight. Never mind what we said last night. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. So she's like, look, forget, let's just keep moving. Like, forgive the argument that we had. We're going to keep moving. Oh, we had another argument? Throwing knives, slamming doors. Forget that. Don't worry about it. Good morning. How are you? And it's like, it's just rinse and repeat. And it's like, oh my God, that's so smart.
that happens how many times and how many houses, and yeah, every morning.
Yeah. And then the line is like, we always come around. We don't take a genius to find out what's wrong with the slamming door. What's wrong with slamming the door? You know, it's a good song, man. You'd have to listen to it. I think it sounds like poetry if you're just reading it. That's because it is. But her putting it to actual music is just like, whew, it's dope the way she does it.
I think a lot of her stuff is just so relatable. That's a great example right there. It's poetry for all of us. So it's not reaching for this esoteric, analogies and whatever. It's like, no, I can immediately understand and relate to what she's talking about. And then you put it with some of the videos she put out, like that video for One Wish. So that track specifically is about basically how her dad didn't show up for her 10th birthday. And so she was sitting there kind of waiting. And then that was her wish. And then the song kind of talks about that relationship and whatever. And then, wow, you watch that video and I mean, even if you didn't know anything about it, you just watch the video, you're like, holy cow, this is intense. It's so well done. It's so beautifully shot. It tells such an amazing story. And then the kicker is her dad's in the video.
Crazy.
Like, she's singing those words to him in the video. And from what I read, it was kind of the first time that he even heard them. So you imagine, like, here's the big reveal, Dad. I've been stewing on this for years, and here's the effect that you had on me. And by the way, I'm going to wait until the cameras are rolling, and I'm sitting in the back seat of the car that you drive around. Like, that is intense. Intense.
Yep. I bet his one wish was to click his heels and not be there for part of that, or for that song to be about something else.
The shoot,
Man.
Yeah, I think after the shoot, he kind of disappeared for a while to kind of process, which, and you know what? Good on her for being like, hey, you weren't around. That's the reality of it. So, but then being able to say, look, I want to have, because it sounds like she's really been working on that relationship with him over the years. I want to work on this. And this is, I think what she said is, it's really important for me to put this song on the project, because this song matters to me. And so I don't know, that leaning in, again, we talk about this a lot in this show, but that leaning into vulnerability that we're seeing from these young artists is, I don't know, it's just refreshing.
Yeah. I feel like our generation, we kind of grew up thinking that, the less we show, the more we show that nothing hurts us, right? We just have to be bulletproof, be like Teflon, if you will, where nothing bothers you. Keep it all, everything kind of bottled in. And obviously us, that leads to different issues growing up and what have you. And I think a lot of it affected how we raised our kids. It's like, well, look, I don't want it to be like that. If you want to cry, you should be able to cry, regardless if you're a boy or girl, right? If you're hurt, you should tell me that you're hurt, regardless if you're a boy or girl, right? So in this right here, the lyrics are very, very descriptive. It's her birthday. Thought you would be on your way. Candles burned down to the cake. To the cake. Brandon. I said Brandon. Joe. Candles burned down to the cake. Joe,
Nobody
do you
likes
know how
wax,
long
Toby.
it takes for a candle to burn down to the cake?
Takes a minute.
Good God. You mean that nobody ate cake? And you still didn't
Nothing.
come? Brother.
Nothing.
Man.
Now you know why she's mad, Toby.
Well, that's why she said she couldn't spend a wish on you. Now, that's the thing that hit me.
Oh, I just, right?
That hit me. For a kid, and for a kid to getting ready for their birthday wish. This is one time of the year they get to do this wish. And for her to even mention, I can't spend it on you, that means that it was on her mind to spend it potentially on this individual. And it said, I can't spend this one wish on you. Oh,
I mean, how much trust do you have to betray over time to get to the point where, like, yeah, I can't even spend a wish, because that's not even going to work. Ugh. Yeah, it's and I don't know if she directed that. She directed the first video, I believe, for Love Me Not. So she's already kind of kind of branching out into if she did direct this video for One Wish, like, man, she's talented in so many ways. Like, she's going to, who knows? Like, she can carve her ticket and do whatever she wants at that point. This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free via DistroKid. You can send credits to stores, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
With the app, you can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
So why wait? Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffsonriffs.
Go further with the American Express Business Gold Card. Earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels when you book through AmexTravel.com. Whether your destination is a business conference or a client meeting, your purchases will help you earn more points for future trips. Experience more on your travels with Amex Business Gold. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
Are you a forward thinker? Then you need an HR and finance platform that thinks like you do. Workday is the AI platform that helps propel your organization, your workforce, and your industry into the future. Workday, moving business forever forward.
This is one of those albums I feel that also played like a short film for me also. Like I feel like you could find actors to do the entire thing and just have this song interplayed throughout. This song was kind of like a flashback, to times with her father, but obviously those times affected her relationship with men, growing older. And it's like, how could it not?
Of course.
Feeling of abandonment, But just the line here, crying over paper plates. Oh, that just did it for me. I'm like, oh, I wanted to hug her. I'm like, oh my God, that's just,
I know.
I
don't think you get Childish Gambino on a track unless, again, it goes back to that game, recognizes game. So he's not showing up on a lot of features. So the fact that he kind of picked this one kind of says something, I believe, too.
And here's the beautiful thing about it. Normally, when you get somebody on a track like this, especially a name like his, you want 50-50. Like, what's the point of even doing it if it's not 50-50? This is definitely not 50-50. I'm not saying it's 25% him. I'm just saying it ain't 50-50. I can tell you that right now.
I don't even know that you would know he's on the track unless it's called out, because it's not like he gets a verse. It's not like he's really just kind of there supporting her and the song, which is amazing to me.
And then to do the father's perspective, and to do it right. And it was like, man, oh man, it was just really, really well done. Really, really well done. So yes, to get back to the original track,
I know. So it sounds like we love this album, and this Love Me Not track is kind of like, it's fine. It's okay.
Right.
Here's a couple things I really do like. I think the harmonies, like, I don't know, around the minute and a half mark, she's just got beautiful harmonies going on. I think it's, I don't know if it's the same singers that we see in the Tiny Desk, but if it is, they're amazing. If it's her kind of doubling and tripling her stuff, that's pretty cool too. And then I don't know if this was intentional, but towards the end of the song, they have that kind of clapping part and whatever, which is totally reminiscent of that Patrice Rushen song, Forget Me Nots.
It's another one with a range.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, Love Me Not, Forget Me Nots. Was that an intentional kind of clap back? See what I did there? Because
I see what you did there. I see it. Worthy of an applause. Keep it up.
So, yeah, either way, it's kind of cool just to kind of hear that.
Yeah.
Also, it's really, the intro's super weird because it's like, we have this like discordant kind of tones, and then it just jumps into this pop song. And it's like, what's going on there? It's an interesting choice.
She's very much just kind of keep you off balance. When you listen to the entire album, you are off balance. So the moment you think the album's going, one way, then she goes another way. Like, yeah, we talked about some of the cuts on here, definitely, using, hip hop, elements. The one track has got like operatic voices in the background toward the end. And I'm like, I haven't heard anyone do that since Wyclef's track Carnival, which I love, fantastic usage. But again, just constantly keeping you a little bit off balance so you don't know what to expect. And then to bust out with a reggae song later on. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? I loved it. I think it's smart.
This song, this Love Me Not, is kind of like the musical version of that game you play with a flower where you're ripping off the petals and you're like, loves me not. But it's kind of what she's doing the whole album. It's that bouncing back and forth. And I think what she talked about was, so she came out with her first album, I think in 2017. And then she kind of had this period where she like moved to LA and was kind of depressed and outside of Chicago, and like, it was rough. And then she comes out with, I think, Hypnos in 2022. And she felt like when she was working on this album, she's like, I felt like I had to make an R&B album. I was listening to a lot of Brandy. I felt like I needed to make a Black album, in order to kind of fit into whatever cultural things that I needed to fit into. And then she said, for this album, what I realized is my music is Black because I'm Black making music. And so I can embrace whatever I want. Like, I don't have to sit in a bubble somewhere. If I want to do jazz or rock or reggae or opera, whatever it is, who cares? Like, I'm making music for me, that other people can respond to. And God, I wish more artists would do this, where it's just be your authentic self.
Yep.
That's what people want.
That's exactly what people want. If it comes from the soul, it sounds different. If it comes from the soul, it just sounds different, and I feel like it's the same way with speakers too, right? When someone's talking to you or, giving a motivational speech, you can tell when something's coming from the heart. It just resonates different. It doesn't matter what kind of room you're in. It doesn't really matter the type of acoustics. All that stuff is just icing on the cake. We're talking about cake here. Well, you can tell. You could absolutely tell. And I think that's how Ravyn got me with this Love Me Not, because it's not really my jam as far as sonically, it's not really my jam, but I couldn't help but check out the lyrics. And after I did, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. It made me want to go and check the other songs. It was just kind of like, okay, if this is the appetizer, then I am hungry and I want to, listen to everything else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this song will kind of become popular in the summer because it does have that summertime driving around vibes. It's a feel-good song, whatever the lyrics say. It's not, it's poppy and upbeat. It's catchy. It's got a hook. You can repeat it, get stuck in your head, all the things that you expect. And I hope that it's a gateway drug to the rest of the album so that people are like, I love this song. And then they go buy the album and are like, oh my God, this is an amazing album. Even though it's not cookie cutter versions of 12 more songs that sound like, Love Me Not.
I'm also hoping that it is just well received. And I'm hoping that people are going to start declassifying albums a little bit more and not necessarily throwing them in these boxes. And I hope it makes the artists realize, like, hey, I just want to make the music that makes me happy. And I think that's the most important thing. Do do you. So good stuff. Good stuff. I enjoyed it.
All right, Toby, I got one more question for you before we head on out of here.
Hit me.
How important is it for you to relate personally with the artist? Or not, maybe that's phrased wrong. So, for example, Kanye, amazing talent.
Mm-hmm.
I can't listen to Kanye because he's just become Kanye, right? Like, I just can't do it. So there are certain artists that I'm like, well, yeah, maybe they're talented, but I'm just so put off by kind of some of the other stuff surrounding them that I can't get into it. And conversely, when I discover new artists like Ravyn in this case, and you kind of dig into her story and you're like, wow, I really kind of appreciate her approach. I've read various interviews and just kind of like her vibe, her style, how she thinks about things. And she had this great quote in one of her interviews. Let me see if I can dig it up real quick. So she's being interviewed and they said, what's your goal as an artist? She said, well, my goal is to inspire, it's to be a source of comfort for people, which is not something I think you hear a lot from artists. And kind of even then she was recognizing that music can be a place for people to find solace, to find happiness, to kind of lean into whatever feelings. And she said, if they're listening to music, they could have had a horrible day, but this topped it for them. I feel artists play such an important role in people's lives and we need to value that. Whenever somebody asks me this, I picture myself laying a blanket over a globe. That's what I envision all the time. I just think that's such a beautiful way to think about your art and to say, hey, I'm putting sort of this soothing comfort over the world with what I'm creating. I just think that's beautiful. And so getting back to my question, it's like, well, it's easier for me to kind of root for artists like that. And I wonder if that factors into your listening as well, or if I'm just a weirdo.
No, definitely not weird at all. I think, if we look through history, just the whole concept of pen pals, right? Where people, send letters back and forth or whatnot. And sometimes to people that they don't even know per se, but they feel like they know the person through the writings, right? And the relationship ensues and what have you. Now we don't necessarily have to do it that way, but through emails or through texts or, right? Or people throughout history have always wanted to have connection. And so however that connection can be made. And with us, we have limited access to Ravyn, right? Limited access. Right. All we have really is her music. But when you break it down, it's like, okay, you've got the lyrics, and you've got her harmonies, and you've got her tiny desk performance and her interviews. All of that stuff can absolutely make you like an artist more. That is why you have agents making sure that these people are putting out in the world what they really want to put out. With all that being said, there's just something awesome about this newer breed of artists to me that just seems a little bit more authentic, a little less, manufactured, if you will. You can kind of see like these cats are really happy inside. Give me the name of the guy that we talked about. His song was Too Sweet. What was the name of that artist?
Oh, Hozier?
Hozier to me is one of those artists as well, right? Where you like his music. I think he's lyrically, I think he's sound. He's got a great voice. But then you find out a little bit of information about this dude and like the causes that he champions. You've listened to a couple of podcasts and it's like, man, I like his music even more. Like I'm rooting for this dude. It makes you want to spend a little bit of that disposable income, if you have any, on his projects because you're rooting for that guy. And when you hear about like Ravyn coming out with an album at the age of 15, and then going here and you hear the story about her and her father and all this other stuff, it's like, oh man, oh my goodness, this is great, so. Yeah, you feel connection. And I think that connection can work both ways. It can work for bonuses. Like, hey, man, we love this artist. Like, it's not just the songs. Now we feel like we know her a little bit. And then the negative part, because, she's human. And so, like, she's not flawless. There are going to be, she's made mistakes, as we all have done. I will never forget the Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson had an interview back in the day. So she came out with the one album and this song was on there. Let's Wait a While, right? Let's wait a while. So that was a song. So let's wait a while. Let's wait a while. And I want to say the next album, it's like Anytime, Any Place, right? So, and so she had a fan come up to her and was like, I used to love, all your music because I was trying to tell my daughter. She's like, listen, there was years between that and that I can't, I feel differently at this time. I mean, how many years are we supposed to wait? Damn. How many years we gonna wait? My goodness, we adults. This is what adults do. So I thought that was fun. I thought that was really, really, that always stuck out in my mind, but yeah. Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, you're not alone in thinking that. I think a lot of us do that. Sometimes it may be made up stories in our head. It's like, I think I could sit down and have a beer with this artist.
Sure.
Absolutely. I think they would be so cool to have a beer with. So,
and then they always say, "What? Don't meet your idols." So that's
please.
You never know.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Well, we got to wrap this one up. So if you haven't heard it yet, go listen to Ravyn Lenae. The single is "Love Me Not," but as Toby and I have said, the album's way better. So just listen to the whole album. Not that this is a good song, but the album's better. So check that one out. If there are other artists that are blown up that you're like, oh, you should do an episode on whoever, hit us up on social and let us know what's going on. Speaking of artists that you should go listen to, Silver Foxes. If you haven't checked out those tracks, go listen to those. And then, Tobe, how else can they find Riff Nation?
You can find us on Facebook at Riffs on Riffs. You can also find us on Instagram at Riffs on Riffs as well. And then you can visit us on the website. It's riffsonriffs.com. So, hey, we are very accessible. If we were on the basketball court, basically, we're always yelling, hey, I'm open.
We're open. We are open all the time.
That's accessible. So, for
sure. But not like Isaac Okoro open. We're actually going to, we're
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Woo. Come on, Cavs.
Let's go, Cavs.
Let's go, Cavs. Right. Let's go.
Well, thank you all for listening and hit him with the dismount, Tobe.
Hey, thanks for listening. Huzzah.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.